Alright guys, so let's take a look at this one. So this one just says classify the following triangles by angles and sides. So basically all we have to do is identify what types of angles does it have and are there any congruent sides. So if we look at letter A, if we look at each of these angles, we got two acute angles and one obtuse angle. So what that means is that we have a obtuse, because anytime there is an obtuse angle present, it's going to be an obtuse triangle. So that's our angles part. And then if you look, the sides, none of these sides are the same. So when all the sides are different, we call that a scalene. So that's going to be an obtuse scalene. For the next one, we're going to do the same thing. Look at all the angles first. We got a 68, a 22, and remember that mark means 90. So when it has a 90-degree angle, we call that a right triangle. And then if we look at the sides now, so we've knocked out the angles, sides are all different, so this is a right. And if they're all different, just like letter A, it's going to be a scalene. Okay, so that's that one. Next one, take a look at it. This one, if you look at all the angles, we got two 51-degree angles and one 78. So all three of those angles are acute. So if all three are acute, this is going to be an acute triangle. So it's acute, and then, but if you look, we look at the sides now, we got two sides that are the same. And if we have two sides that are the same, that's called an isosceles. So this is an acute isosceles triangle. Again, we got the angles and the sides. And then finally, the last one, all of these angles, they're not marked. But if you look, all these angles, it says they are congruent since they all have that same marking. We don't know the value, but they're all the same. And so if we have three angles that are all the same, so three angles that are all the same in a triangle, we know that those three angles have to add up to 180. So each of those angles have to be whatever 180 divided by 3 is. So each of those angles has to be 60 degrees. So if all three angles are the same and they're all acute, we call that, because they're all the same, that's not an acute triangle, but more specifically, it is an equiangular triangle. So it's equiangular. But it's also, if you look, all three sides are also the same, so it's equilateral. Now normally you would just see this called an equilateral triangle, because if all the sides are the same, then all the angles have to be the same as well. But that's how you classify. Those are all the different terms we need to use for classifications. So just as a quick recap, if it has an obtuse angle, it's an obtuse triangle. If it has a right angle, it's a right triangle. If it has all acute angles, then it's an acute triangle. And then if all the angles are equal, then it's an equiangular triangle. So that's the angle classification. Then if we look, if it has no sides are the same, so none, no sides are the same, it's scalene. If two sides are the same, it's isosceles. And if all three sides are the same, then it's equilateral. That's how you classify triangles.